Hey, can you
Yeah,
hear?
hey.
Am I very blurry?
Let me see. Let me expand this a little bit. No, not. I mean, you're not super clear, but you're not totally blurry.
Oh, wonderful. Hey, Kira.
How's it going, Charlie?
Awesome, awesome.
Good stuff.
Meet some of the gang. Brad, Jessica. This is Kira. Kira
Hey.
is an agent in Vegas, and we were connected. She was referred by the wonderful Zach Hammer, and so she is on her 90-day trial,
Awesome.
and just got onboarded last week.
Yep.
And so,
Super excited.
Welcome.
Thank
um,
you.
and so what I thought I wanted to share some stuff that I don't think I've ever shared before in this group. Um, there's a lot of different uh, software out there, like AI software, like how to know who in your contacts are going to move in the next, 12 months, 24 months, like find out who's likely to move. Have y'all seen those software? Uh, well, I've paid for them. They're usually like $400 a month or something. Um, so you don't have to. The thing is, like, they do work, which that's cool. Like they look at all your contacts and figure that out. What I found, the way that I knew that they worked, is I was already working with a couple of people that they showed up because referrals while you sleep kept me top of mind with people. But I was thinking, like, what if there was like a better way to like actually plan that? Because we know, like, there's going to be about 15 transactions for every 100 people we know every year. Like every 6 years, there's going to be basically 15%. We just don't know which of the 6 years. And so, wouldn't it be cool if we actually knew, all right, out of this 300 people, here's the 45 that are going to move in the next 3 years? That would be pretty cool. And so I found this list, and me and Brad, we've been talking about the hot warm list on tracking those too. And I'd love to hear from Tony Ray when he hops on how he does that. Um, and um, but let me kind of share. It's just some questions to go through on that. Hey, Tony Ray, how are you?
What's up, dude?
Living my best life. Now that Tony Ray's here, I can relax. Everything's going to be fine.
Thank you. Let's go with that.
That's good.
I wish everybody said that when I showed up.
We all feel that way.
I'm
We
used
all
to
feel
things
that
just
way.
being thrown at me, like, get out.
I'm looking for this document that I've got. But Tony Ray, I'd love to know, like, when you've got people that are kind of warm, like people that said, I'm looking to move in a year, or like, like they just got married, or, they're likely to move. Like, what do you do with your list of people that, like, you're not in action right now, but it's probably, it's likely that it's coming soon? Do you have like a list or?
Yeah, so we do a lot of relocation. So in relocation, I found originally it would be 6 months out. So they would call in, so I funnel a lot through website forms. I built these little forms that offer a free relocation package, and I get about 6 to 9 million a year in sales from these little forms that are on my websites. Well, what I was discovering was they were coming in and then they would get the relocation form and I wouldn't hear from them. And this is back in the day, and I didn't know what to do with that because I'm like, oh, they don't like me or whatever. That's fine. They went somewhere else. What was really happening was they were investigating up front, because these people who are relocating back then would typically start their research 6 months in advance. Now it's actually gone 6 months to a year in advance. People are really stretching out this time frame where they know. So I get a lot of calls now saying, hey, I'm going to be retiring or moving to Tucson, Arizona in December of 2025 or January of 26. So now I was like, okay, now I have a year, right? So I'm just making sure that we have follow-up checking in notes that we send them. So it's just on the calendar. So I use BRO action sets for everything.
Yeah.
So my assistant puts them in as a relocation lead on that group, and it just flagged relo lead in the BRO system. So I can pull all relo leads at any time. Then on the action sets, there's a every month follow-up to some way of checking in, just to say, hey, do you need anything from us checking in? I also immediately put them on 7E emails.
Yeah.
So they're going to get the chicken soup from the soul email. And if I've got their birthday on the intake, they'll get a birthday. I'm going to treat them just like I treat everybody else. They're getting 7E. If they bounce off of 7E, I'll check in with them to see if it was they're not buying, or they don't like us, or they just don't want the extra emails. But I have discovered it's just a matter of just staying in touch with them. And now I get people who will say, oh my God, we talked 2 years ago and I told you I was getting ready to retire and we're coming in next week. And so then it's me like going in my notes really quick, seeing if I could find anything that I talked to them about, so I can hope because they remember me, because they've been getting emails and they think they know me, but they also expect me to remember them. And that's
Right.
tough. So yeah, does that answer that question?
Yeah. Yeah. You've got a system to make sure that
BRO part of
you-
that system, the automatic 7E emails are fantastic because people, they're a warm welcome. They're a hug. When they get that little chicken soup from the soul, that's a little warm hug thing they like. So yeah.
Yeah. Stay top of mind without talking about real estate all the time.
Yeah, I also try on my intake forms to get their Facebook profile or
Yeah.
an Instagram profile. I have discovered though that most people that want to communicate with each other are Facebook users versus the Instagram is it's not the same. So they typically will give me a Facebook and then I can get them involved in my story and stay involved in their story. And then it really kind of cements that. Then if they're on the Facebook and I get them into there, they're also going to be on Referrals While You Sleep. Your system would, if you're doing that, then they're going to load through there as well. So they're probably going to see you a lot more, and you're going to be really good friends when they arrive.
Yeah.
And in their minds.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what you said. They end up, when they call you, they feel like y'all are best friends because they know all about you, even if you've got to look at your notes to find out about them.
And and that's strategic from the websites themselves and being authentic on Facebook. We let them just know who we are. They research us big time on Google now. I think that's something to be very aware of. They read your referrals big time. They want to know what other people say about you. And then they read, like I have several pages on Google. They'll listen to my national podcasts or interviews that people have done with me or TV shows or whatever they can find. They'll know those, right? And then they go and they start checking you out on Facebook. And then they on my website, they read the pages I've written about Tucson because I ambassador Tucson. So they can read all about Tucson, not me. And in that, though, they hear my words and they see the little video interviews we've done of people around Tucson promoting the Sonoran hot dog place or whatever it is. And so they really get a vibe of who our community is and who we are. And it's not so much like as BRO is always, it's not us promoting, we can help you buy a house. It's just a different vibe. So it works really, really well for those folks in that long-term haul. It also works well for short term because people are scanning us very quickly, all those spots, and then they call. But by the time I get them, it is like I'm their best friend. They already know me. They know my story. And it takes a whole lot of that stuff out of the equation. For example, literally Darren takes them now and meets them at the office for a consultation. And to go over buyer's broker and agency and all that stuff live. It's not even an issue. It's like where do I sign is usually the question. They're not comparing us to other people. They're not afraid. They already know who we are. So it works beautifully.
They've decided they want to work with you on your terms.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's
whatever
about
it takes, you're their guy.
yeah, they wouldn't consider someone else. They've already invested so much time in this research and getting to know us that I think we underused websites. I really do. I feel bad for all the people out there who thought websites weren't worth it. And they were sold a bunch of crap. They were sold glitzy, fabulous websites. And then you have to pay $100 a month for IDX. And then you had to pay $200 a month for pay-per-click. And they're going to make your websites. That was bullshit. We should have taught people like I did, make a website that Google thinks is organic and fabulous and build it that way and drive people to that. That's your marketing. That's your store online. Get them there. Once you get them in your website, you've got them in your world. And now you can show them your world and be exposed and give them everything you want them to see. It's all there. Right. And we're getting, it's actually really working well for me again, now that all of this stuff happened with COVID and Google. All these different things are creating this world where people are very happy to be in my website because now they're getting that authenticity.
Yeah.
And my website looks the most homemade, generic, childlike thing you've ever seen. Go to one of them. I built them. They are not glitzy, fabulous. They're built on a WordPress WYSIWYG. So there's nothing exciting about these websites. They're just authentic. It's like picking up the camera and talking versus trying to edit and make it fabulous.
Yeah.
Charlie,
I mean, that's
bring up one of those. One of Tony's.
Yeah. See Tucson Homes, is that one of them? I like that. Just simple, authentic. And it's got go down here, the famous iguana picture. Got Darren. And
that little relocation form, if you scroll up a little bit, Charlie, you can see I took a little bit of time there. This is before AI. So this is a real actual picture we made. we put the components, but this is a Tucson loft. So that's very authentic Tucson space to purchase. And then we overlaid this little dude carrying the box. I went for somebody who had a friendly smile for the moving company. And then we overlaid this little saguaro and that onto the box just to give that form more authenticity than the generic form that we could have put there.
Right.
Right. So it's those little things that catch people's subconscious, is just being real.
Yeah. Simple, authentic, not glitzy, and then all this is you.
And there's a little humor on the right with the cactus. And then we are just now starting this idea of doing the story of the homes we sell when they're unique, because like the evidence of success story in the AI for BRO that's available, we've decided to start showing what happened with this property and why it's got a story. Because this house was built by a student of Frank Lloyd Wright, who there's photographs of them together in the architecture school. And so we wanted to bring this story out because this was a very unique sell for me. The clients literally gave me 3 weeks to put this on the market, get it sold, find them a brand new house, get them all moved on a domino, all closing on the same day. And then they went to Indonesia on the day 22, and we pulled it off. So
amazing.
Yeah. So it was a $2 million process of a sale, but to give me 3 weeks to find you a happy house that you're going to be in love with in that time period was kind of funny too. Yeah, so you can see this is just really super us. And then I think is Danny down there. So Danny's brand new. Danny just came to us and basically asked us if he could work with us, and we said yes. We weren't trying to get a team member, but Danny's moral compass is absolutely amazing, and he's just wanting to learn, and he's been in real estate long enough to. He's been in 8 years, and he's been with a small broker, and he just wasn't getting the family he needed, and so it worked out really, really well. He called us and we said, yeah, come in. And he is probably going to be the kid we give our entire business to. We're probably going to hand him $1 million a year income. We're just going to hand it to him. Because if he works out over the next 5 years, we'll give it to Danny.
And is this the guy that said you inspired him and he's been conspiring to get his broker's license for the last 8 years so that he could come fully qualified when he asked to work with you?
Yeah, he was waiting to ask to work with us, but he was mortified and terrified to do it. So he went to broker's school just so he'd feel confident enough to be, he said he needed to feel worthy of working with us because we're kind of famous in Tucson. And everywhere he went, people would say, he talked about us in the real estate world. And so he just got, it kind of played against him, but it worked out in the end really well. So
how often do you update content on this?
All of our websites get at least one new article every week. And that's pretty simple because now all I have to do is throw an idea into ChatGPT and it pumps out the information we need. So, yeah, the harder part is these apps that you're seeing because we created our own apps like 10 years ago. And the apps are a little more complicated because I have to go through development with Apple or with Google. I'm like today, Google sent me a note asking me to send in all my legal documentation to renew my Google app. Just you have to be a developer. So there's more work on the apps, but yeah, something goes out every week on all of those. Then a newsletter every month goes out to all of those groups, and the newsletter highlights the new stuff that's come into the website, and that's off of Constant Contact. And of course, we run the Tucson Gallery, which is a not-for-profit. So I just built the same exact business model for the Tucson Gallery as I did for my website for C Tucson Homes. And so we're on the same system.
Makes sense. Yeah. And I mean, the reason I wanted to ask you that is, I mean, your business, I mean, that's what most people want. Like when people come to you, they're compliant clients from the rip, they know who you are. They know that they want to work with you. They're likely to move and they're willing to like hire you almost no matter what you charge, like long as it's like with any kind of reason.
Yes, I since we're in a closed group here, I charge more than everybody else.
Yeah.
so I charge more than everyone in the city. So I know that. And I've been told that by many because my brokers and all the people are like, how the hell do you do this? So, but that is because there's reverence already created by being authentic. And this, you want authenticity. This is the funniest part. Imagine 30 years ago, you're a gay man going into business in a straight world that's very hateful and horrible. And there was very few protections for a gay man. So, or anybody gay, right? So here I am going into this world of real estate, and I was a secret agent. I would only work with people who know Brad, because Brad was nice to me. Brad is a cool guy. So I'm only going to work with people like Brad because that was safe. That was a very safe place. And that's why I ended up with BRO, because it was a safe place to be a secret agent. And the funny thing was I was out at 14 and never had a problem in Tucson, Arizona. I never was bullied. I've lived a beautiful life here. But it was funny because I was back in the closet as soon as I went into real estate, because I was like, I can't. And then a gay realtor said to me, you'll never, ever be successful if anybody finds out you're gay. So stay in the closet. And he was doing 10 million a year in sales back in 1995. So I was very disappointed and I almost quit real estate around a whole bunch of stuff because of this. And then it was the launch of a website that let me become authentic, that let me I outed myself online and I thought, screw this. If anybody finds me online and they're a perfect fit, they'll continue through the process and they'll get to me. If they don't like me, I just avoided the nightmare I'm trying to avoid anyways. And so it's really cool as I look back over these years now, 30 years, I've had a really great life with vacations and no weekends and no nights. And all of that came from me trying to figure out how to just weed through get through the weeds, right?
Right.
No, that's a special part of those websites for me. And Dean Jackson helped me with those website ideas because I came to him and said, I'm building my own website. I learned how to write code because back then I had to write HTML code. And Dean Jackson had gone on stage and talked about, I remember his little formula, eyeballs and teeth come over here, and then you get them from the eyeballs and teeth to go over here. And so, and it's worked really, really well.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, that's, that's really what Referrals While You Sleep. The goal is the same. And the way it works, what I like, it's how you're authentically you online, where if someone rejects you, you never know about it. And if they love you, they keep coming closer and closer. And so when they finally reach out to you, they're pre-sold. And, I often get 4% personally on listings here. I often get 3.5% from buyers and a $7.95 broker fee. So I get more than a lot of realtors do here as well, because it's the same thing. Like, they are pre-sold. They say, Charlie, tell me what to do, and I'll do it. And that's I'm doing it without phone calls, without manual follow-up systems. They get to know me, and they either come to me or they don't, and it can be done at scale. And it's amazing the practice you've got. And so that leads me to I don't know, I'd love to hear from y'all. What was y'all's insights from that?
Well, I think referrals while you sleep. This is a a way to get business like Tony does, and that's kind of the best way to describe it. I think because you can do the other way where you actually do meet those people that don't like you or choose not to work with you, and I did that. I had an adrenal breakdown and had such bad anxiety that I almost lost my mind, and then 10 years later I had 2 feet of my intestine removed. I mean, this is and this is because I realized I was doing, and I was very successful financially, but as I hear this story, it's so inspiring, Tony. Your transparency and what you shared here, and also when you've done your presentations in the past, because it just, when I do look at the clients that I've had to kind of by default, like I literally can't do that anymore. I cannot go and bang the phones cold calling. I cannot pursue people that haven't gone through a process already to get to know me, and I already have enough people that do know, like, and trust me. So I've just had to progress through unlearning that. Sometimes I'll even be like, oh, I start to chase, and I'm like, what am I doing? Don't do that. Like, I literally had to like throw away like files and files of just leads that were like, from that my business partner had gotten. And I'm like, so anyway, that's what my takeaway was, Charlie.
I like that. I like that.
I mean, I want to see agents avoid this, This is one of the reasons why I'm coaching most of the time. 70% of my income is coming from coaching. And just this is the better way. And it's just so much more fulfilling, because you are you, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tony's
So,
he's not selling. It's just talking. He's just being himself.
Yeah, the magic part probably now for if you're coaching like an agent, I got super lucky because I found BRO because I wanted to quit in 1995. I had started in 94, so this is my 30th year. And in 95, I quit. I was quitting and my broker was firing me because I wasn't producing and I said, yeah, I'll quit anyway. So she's like, yeah, if you're going to stay though, go check out this weird guy, Joe Stump. She goes, he's blah, blah, blah like you. Just go see him. So I got very lucky that connection happened because then it changed instantly for me. And I've always had that life of by referral that you're talking about, Brad, right? So, but now, how powerful would it be to teach a new person coming in to build this little website with 10 pages and just add a blog, an authentic vlog or blog every single week, once a week, add that on there, and then talk about whatever on Facebook and then blast it through your group on Facebook through Referrals While You Sleep. What a magic connection. Because now if I see this guy on CNN News floating around and there he's talking about something, because that's what stalker ads do. They float around. I don't know if you guys know that, but they float around. Because one of my Referral While You Sleep ads was on CNN News in Rome. And a girl called me from Rome when Charlie, and I had told Charlie this had happened. So now she gets to see this little blurb of me chatting or whatever the video is on Referral While You Sleep. And then she goes over to my website and starts to learn who I am more. Like they can delve in because my website's there, right? And then she can Google me and read reviews and so forth. So what a magical connection to bring people really back to you, to have all of these components and very fairly priced. I mean, think about how much it costs to get that out there on a website. Costs nothing. I mean, you can do a WYSIWYG WordPress website with GoDaddy, and I don't even know what that costs, but mine is ridiculous because I have a team of people now and it's like $50K a year. But the cost of a website, I think they're free once you get a GoDaddy domain or something. And then, so it's really simple. So you're spending the money on Referral While You Sleep and ads out. And then what's the cost of acquisition for these folks? If you get one a month, what did you pay? $500? And then I'll pay $500 all day for a client. That's a great client. We're paying $3,000 every single time we get an agent referral.
Right.
Which I'm happy to do.
I'll pay 30% agent referral all day long to get it like a pre-sold compliant client. Like, sign me up.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
you're gonna pay that in medical bills or divorce, I mean, like seriously, I mean, because you could do it that way, or you're grinding, and have a hellscape of a business, or you can do it this way.
It's cathartic as well. I have to tell you how powerful it is to just get stuff off your mind into an article or a video and put it on your website and let it go. It's like writing that. Remember, people, I guess they still do it, write letters and then let someone go and then light it in the fire. It's like a ritual of love or something. But it's the same thing. If you could just write a blog every week, and you don't have to write it. You can go to GPT and have it come up with the idea and then edit it and make it your own. But really, it's super simple. And then it's letting go of a piece of you, right? And you're getting it out to the world and sharing it.
Do a video and let AI turn it into a blog. Post the video up, right?
Yeah. I just went to Canva, by the way, today. I don't know if you've seen this, but Canva's AI video thing is like, every time I go to one of these AI, they're advancing like fast, right? So ChatGPT DALL-E could not get text correct in anything. And then this week I asked it to type out a person looking at a newsletter online, and it actually highlighted all my newsletter items perfectly written in text on
Wow.
the computer screen. So the picture came out really cool. And then I went to Canva today and I had made a bunch of the top 10 Tucson terrors, mythical things and creatures of Tucson that, everybody, oh, sorry about that. For Halloween, the like mythical crap going on. And I had made these pictures to put in my art gallery for people sitting at the bar in our gallery to be able to read these questions like, what's the mythical creature in the desert that everybody's terrified will come to their house, which is a chupacabra. So I told AI to make a picture of the chupacabra. So I just went to Canva while I was talking to my techie kid online, and I said, let's check out Canva real quick and see if what it's doing with AI video, because I've been using InVideo. And I told Canva, I said, hey, can you make me a Tucson Terrors video? And it instantly put up all the photos that I had, and I clicked on the photos and it gave me a 30-second terror video of Tucson mythological terrors, all done within 30 seconds. And it had music and everything on it, scary music. So it took me 1 minute and it whipped out a 30-second video. Now I'm like, okay, I can go edit this right now real fast and make sure it all looks good, but I could throw that on Facebook and I'll bet you people share that sucker because it's Tucson mythological terror stuff.
Now that was just on Canva. Do you have to have like a special account on Canva, or can you just like?
No, if you have a pro account on Canva, it has Magic AI in it now.
Okay.
Yeah, you click on video, make a video 1080, and then go over to the left and just click make me a video or something like that as a button, and it just says pick some pictures, and you pick them, and it whips out a video.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah. Stuff's moving fast.
So we had our annual Nexa conference last week, and just some follow-up comments to Tony's comments. One of the things that one of the speakers said was to raise your net worth, you have to raise your self-worth. And he said that authenticity is the highest energy level, and being me in video leads to authenticity. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He said something else too that I thought was pretty cool. He said, truth is like poetry. Not everybody likes it.
That's cool.
And we had another speaker, Kyle Draper, and he talked a lot about video. And he said that video is the new belly to belly, that, people are not looking to meet in person, a large percentage of them. And he said, we don't buy things until we look them up. You think about, you're going to buy a new TV, you're going to go online and do research. So he's essentially the same thing with us as people. And one other statement was from a gal named Nora Guerrera at Freddie Mac. She was talking about the housing shortage and how long it could take for that to get resolved. And she said that we're way behind because there's 5 million new units needed every year. And there were 3 things that were leading to the shortage and not catching up. One was lumber prices, one was lumber shortage, and one they had never heard before is an opioid crisis in the builder community. So I hadn't heard about that at all, at least up in my part of the world. So thought I'd bring it up in case anybody else had.
Wow. Okay, so you said something about authenticity is the highest energy level, but you said something before that. There's a couple takeaways you had basically about you being authentic. What was the other one? I know one was authenticity. Authenticity is the highest energy level. There was something else.
To raise your net worth, you have to raise your self-worth.
Okay. That's it. Thanks.
I like that.
And that was my
Especially-
takeaway from Tony. It was the authenticity. I almost think in the real estate community, especially when you're new and they can see the talent on you, they're going to say things to like discourage you. You know what I mean? And that's probably what happened there, because from one game into the next, they know if they tell you that, that's going to shut you down, probably, right? So
That could you're right. It could very well have been that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I love that. That is, and what's cool about that is now you're working, like, we've got the power through media, either building a website like Tony Ray or doing videos and making sure that everyone we know sees the videos. I mean, that's really what it is. They build that connection. We build that influence. We're that authority so that, when they call, they're excited and say, all right, yeah, you're my guy. Like, what do I need to do? Just tell me step by step. I've got a client right now. We listed her house. It was too high. We slowly dropped it. This weekend we got it to the right price, 850. We got multiple offers. One of the offers, one of the buyers is unrepresented. And my client she said, how cool is that? Like, you could actually get both sides of this. Like, my client is excited, and it's an investor too, and he's got a listing, and she was like, and he said if he gets the house, like, you'll be able to list his other house. She said, well, what if the other guy gets it? Does that mean you wouldn't be able to list his other house? I was like, yeah. And she was like bummed about that. Like, she's wanting me to do this. Like, it's I mean, most real estate rooms wouldn't think that our type of practice is possible.
That's what's the first thing that came to my mind. So I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm hearing that, and I have a handful of clients that have totally been like that, but it's still so foreign. Um, I'm, I'm getting there, but that was awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Charlie. That's really cool.
Yeah. And so I wanted to share kind of something that I've been playing around with to share with new agents on Referrals While You Sleep. And there's two things here. One, it's just this little spreadsheet. I think I shared it with you, didn't I, Brad, the other day?
Yeah, I filled it out last night. I started doing it because I was like, okay, this is what's measured can be improved. And then you said also you took it to the next level. You're like, yeah, what was you said something else?
Yeah, what's measured improves, and what measures and is reported improves exponentially.
Reported, yes, reported.
And so I've worked with a lot of agents that have asked me for help, and what I've seen is I've talked to so many agents that do it, me and you used to do, Tony Ray, which was we'd get people interested and we'd just forget about them. And Ninja Selling talks about this. And so it's just this little spreadsheet that, like, anyone that is like in the process of moving right now, like, they're ready, they're looking, they're ready to sell, they're hot. But then someone that may be interested soon, they're probably in that 15% that's going to move this year. They're warm. And I've got this list of questions. Instead of asking AI who's likely to move, but if you've got your database, you can go through these 16 questions, and what I found, it's a really good example of people that would be on your warm list. And so I wanted to I'm going to start sharing this with new Referrals While You Sleep people as well. One, have they had an increase in their family size in the last year? Do they have kids 10 and under? Do they have teenage kids? Do they have kids that have left home recently? Are they living either below or above their means? Have they lived in their same house 7 years or more? Has their employer company grown? Has their employer company downsized in the last year? Have they received a substantial inheritance? Do they own a building lot? Are they getting married or recently married? Are they getting divorced or recently divorced? Are they getting divorced and married? man, you can get like 15 deals off of just this one, right? Uh, um, do they have a dream for, wake up money, investment property? Me and Tony Ray, we did a training on investments a while back, and I've got a lot of clients that I help with investments. I love them, like that can be one deal a year sometimes. Are they commuting over? Like, what's a long amount for you? For me, a lot of my clients, if they're an hour or more, soon, a lot of times they're ready to move. Do they have a dream just to live anywhere? They want the laptop lifestyle, and I've had this thought like, man, what if, you've got your list of people that that pass the grocery store test, and you just look through each one and say, oh, does any of this have to do with them? Like these are, we in general, we don't know which year someone's going to move out of that 7, since 90% are going to move in the first, 6 or 7 years. But if they're on this list, it's highly likely that they're in the first 2. And Kira, I was sharing this with Zach Hammer last night, and he just moved, and I helped him find an agent where he's at. And he was like, yeah, like when he had his twins, it immediately shifted him. He's like, all right, now we have to find a house. And it took him 2 years to do it, but he got it processed really immediately. And I'll share that again. I'd love y'all's thoughts on that.
I'd like that list.
That I can do.
Yeah, I think the list is amazing to help you remember these 16 things, right? Like, like it's a great way to actually concentrate on, hey, where I should be looking for, I should be listening, I should be paying attention to, is this happening in their lives, in our conversation? And if I hear one of these 16 things, then I should be plopping that into my notes. I should be making sure we're aware of this, because these are indicators.
Yeah.
Yeah. The kids, the kids thing, especially indicators. If they've got a baby, the age of that child is a big indicator, because they could very well need to move as soon as elementary school starts, because they've now decided there's a better elementary school over in a different neighborhood, and they need to get into that school system to be able, they've got to be in the area. So these are great indicator things to be paying attention to.
Yeah. And I love the thought, I was sharing with Zach, like, Kira, this would be great for you. Like, as you go through your grocery store test list, when, anyone that matches this criteria, if you put them on this list, and I got this from Ninja Sailing. I love Ninja Sailing. Their suggestion is every day, look at this list and just ask myself, how can I serve this person today? Like with Zach Hammer, which I don't know if y'all met Zach, but we do a podcast together, and he does a lot of marketing tools for realtors. And it took him 2 years to actually get moved. But the first thing that I did is like, all right, you need to talk to Paul, my lender. And so he was kind of in a hot list. Talk to Paul. Paul said, all right, here's some stuff you need to do. And he's self-employed, so I connected him with my tax guy, Crazy Jimmy. And then he was Zach was really on the warm list for 9 months or so. He was kind of getting stuff situated. And then he was like, all right, hey, it's time. And he got moved back to the hot list. And I found him a realtor, and kind of his situation, he needed to work with a local lender. And so I found him a local lender, and like just moved along that way. And but I love that thought of just, whether a year or 2, like, how can I serve the people on this list? And I've got a spot for 150, because My dream's always been like, if I get 150 people on this that are likely to move in the next 2 years, I can be very comfortable in just serving who's in front of me that day, you know. Because real estate's a lot of fun when I'm not freaking out about my mortgage.
Agreed.
Or freaking out about your business, just about your, like, oh my gosh, like I've got, 10 calls to make to get back to people, and I've got all these emails, and it's just, and that's where like that fun rating comes in, because it was just so funny that when I first heard it, I was like, fun. And then I was like, but actually then when I look at that, I was like, yeah, that call was fun because that guy was referred to me, and just having all these different conversations over the past 4 or 5 years now that I'm doing this referral thing and join Bro, the by referral only community, that it's so different, and it is fun, because you otherwise, like, I don't want to do it anymore if it's not fun. So like and it's just so nice to see Charlie and Tony and Jerry, just because I know you guys from the Bro community, that you guys are excited about your business, and you're like, oh well, yeah. I mean, it's awesome that this is what I have the opportunity to serve these people, and that's the same way I feel about it too when they're referred to me. Otherwise, it's like, hey, can you, if I just have so many investor clients that, and so many wholesaler clients that they're like, hey, look at that house. Can you go do your magic on that? I'm like, oh, dude, like, and I do it, and it's just painful because I have to like build the trust, and that is where you get spent. That's the critical inch. Building the trust. That's what's exhausting. Because you give so much of
yourself.
Proving yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the worst. That's the worst thing that it's the actually the other side of building trust is the exhaustion of trying to prove yourself. And nobody wants to have to prove themselves, right? I have the evidence of success everywhere you could possibly need. Go research it, then talk to me. That makes it so much easier than me standing there tap dancing on a table trying to prove myself.
Real estate is hard enough without that.
Yeah.
I mean, the client said, I've got 21 days to relocate into a house that I love. Like, that's hard enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all these components they're just imperative to kind of put that whole big picture together to make it super simple for someone to find you online, super simple for someone to get referred to you. If you get a referral, by the way, if Charlie refers a client to me, I'll bet you 90% of the time or more, they've gone online and researched the heck out of me, even though he's referred me. Because now they're like, well, Charlie says he's the realtor to call, but let's just check him out for sure. And you're going to see a lot of that coming soon. And that's my magic 8-ball, but there are a ton of people that are going to be orphaned because they're crappy real estate agent who they are very upset with. They're leaving the business. And so therefore, this new group, this old group that got their first house coming back around, they're going to be, I believe, doing their due diligence this time, because I've already had some taste of it where I've had 2 this year that said, our realtor's gone. She was awful. She did all these things. We know we're incorrect now that we know, and we only want experience. And so they're coming around, and I think that's going to be helpful to all of us. It's going to be great for us.
Tony, can you expand on that? What you said something about like, so Charlie refers somebody to you, but they're still checking you out. Cause like I've had that where I've had a referral, and it was just about a month ago, and guy was, straightforward, but he was also like kind of grilling me. He was like, well, why should I work with you? What have you, how many homes do you sell every, just like the whole thing. And I was like, this is supposed to be a referral. Like, I feel like I'm on a freaking, interview here, like, which is fine. I mean, I handled it. I didn't care, but I was still kind of like, wait, is this how this is not how it's supposed to work, right? But what can you talk about that?
I think so a lot of times I think it's kind of like dating. So I meet Kira meets me, and we're giddy on the phone for 20 minutes, and we're talking about possibly working together. And if I hang up with Kira, and I think it's a natural tendency for both of us to hang up, and they're like, oh my God, Kira's really cool. It was so fun to talk to her. I wonder what her Facebook pictures look like. And I'm going to go check her out, because now I want to know more about her, because I'm excited to meet her. Like, there's an energy around it. And there's an energy around Charlie saying, oh my God, you have to call Tony Ray. He's the best realtor in Tucson, Arizona. I just love this guy. And so that energy comes out, right? So now the client goes, who is this guy? I got to know who he is before I pick up the phone. It's not even as a negative. It's sometimes just like, it's a person belly to belly thing. We want to know more about this person. Let's get to figure them out. Let's get to see who they are. I'm excited. I'm going to get it. Maybe I'm getting a new friend. Maybe I'm getting somebody I can talk to. Maybe someone's going to listen to me. I have been, so many people are so separated from COVID. It really caused so much angst and anxiety and emotional loss. And there's so much around going on. And then politics and all that stuff is involved, and it causes negativity right in our world. And I think getting to meet somebody that somebody's referred to you, you can't help but want to investigate them. You want to go get a little dive into more. Who are they? Let's see. Oh my God, that guy's really crazy. He's got an iguana on his head. How cool is that? Or what the hell was Charlie thinking?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
out.
So it's your follow-up systems that you have already to continue to build that trust after their initial, your initial, good exchange, and then plus all the other things that you've created that are just out there organically, and it's the combo. Okay.
And I'm using those, Brad. I will tell you, because local service ads, if you're signed up as a realtor or a lender on local service ads, it's very interesting, because when people call in, they have clicked me because I'm usually number one on the local service ad rotation that day. And they'll call in and they'll start asking me questions. And I will say to them, I'll say to them, have you taken the time to research me on Google? And have you taken the time to read the reviews on Google? And they usually all say yes. And then after they say yes, I'll say, what got you to call me? And it's very interesting, because a lot of times the answer is, well, Susie said, because she's on a review. And I love that she talked about this, because, and then I get more insight to them on why they came through. So people, I encourage them. I'll even say to somebody who's referred to me from, I'm going to just keep using Charlie. So Charlie refers me someone, and I'm going to say to them at the end of the conversation, I know Charlie referred you, but I want you to understand, I don't ever take that for granted. So I would really super appreciate it if you would take 5 minutes, pop on and just type in Tony Ray Baker Realtor into Google and read everything you can, or it looks exciting about me, so you really get to know who I am. And that way I'll know, in your heart of hearts, we're a good fit. Because Charlie's a component of it, but I want them to really get in and find out more about me. This is like handing them a book, business card book. Same thing. I'm telling them to go find out more about me. And I have a story for you guys before about that book, because I think I told you what happened, right? I had bribed somebody with a bottle of wine. Did I tell you this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went in, so this is a medical doctor a friend of mine who I have great reverence for her. Can I read you what she just wrote me?
Yeah.
Please.
Tony Ray, I was honored that you asked me to review your book, and it was a great pleasure, so much so that I read it several times. You are truly a tour de force. It is so apparent that you have poured your heart and soul, not to mention knowledge of real estate, into every aspect of this book. You are obviously passionate about all you write about. You're living your, I don't know what this word is. She says, you are truly living your ikigai. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, it's wonderful to learn the perspective you have gained from your early years and the impressive role model that in the strong community advocate of your mother was for you, and how you embody her ideals. So she's really read this, right? I recently read an article about Humberto Lopez in the latest issue of Tucson Lifestyle magazine. He turned $1,000 into $1 million, and he founded HSL Properties in Tucson. Your vision for helping your clients in real estate investing sounds strikingly familiar. Whether investing or simply buying or selling a home, you are clearly the exemplary realtor and so much more. Just so you know, I plan to keep copies of your book in my patient rooms in case my patients need referrals. Please bring them down. That was like, ooh, it hit me so hard to read that because I told you guys I had so much angst about this book and it was me, and I just felt like I just like to hand that out. So I softly handed it out with a wine bribe to one person. And that's the first email I've received back on the book.
That is great, man. Thanks for sharing that victory and being like open enough to say, yeah, here, this, you know, that's, I know that's hard for all of us. So that's rad, man. Great job.
Yeah. I need to talk about it on the BRO thing to let other people know they need to use, they can use this book and we all have angst. And it comes with pride, ego, or not asking for help or whatever it is. It's angst around it. And I did have angst around this book. So this has lightened my load a little bit. Now I'm excited to hand it to the next person.
Right. I love that. I love that. I love the idea.
Did you, anybody, who's got the book done? Has
I don't
anybody
think
got
there's
this
else
done?
here that's had that book
Yeah,
finished.
it's yeah, mine is not almost done. We had some little setbacks from the hurricane thing, but all will be well.
Yeah, it's definitely a game changer. I'm not going to tell you about the next surprise then, since you're not ready. I'll let them tell you. It's a did you do one, Charlie?
No, I haven't done one. If I did one, I'd want to do it for referrals while you sleep. You know, this is my baby, and
yes,
I'm actually talking with Jeff Robbins this afternoon, so I should ask him. Hey, can I do
it,
that?
Jerry, Kira, Jessica? Nobody else did it.
Mine is
Jerry's
in
awesome.
process. I just am sending the revisions over today.
I mean, I started a book a while ago and never finished it.
Yeah.
This is so different than
I think Charlie,
have
I think
books.
Jessica, I think they're talking about doing a book, not reading one.
Well, Jessica, this
Well, that
isn't
too.
something you'll do anyways. They do it for you. It's not the same. I have 3 books written, but this is not the same. They buy referral only and neuro-linguistics programming and Dan and wrapping all of it into their specialty. It comes out. Well, you can hear by my first email. It comes out quite amazing, and it's a little tiny book business card you would hand to realtors. You're in lending, right, Jessica? So you'd hand it to realtors and to clientele, and it's a game changer. I can see the next surprise after the book that they give you is going to be mind blowing for you. So it's really worth investigating that.
That's awesome. Got so many ideas. Well, we are right up at 1. We didn't split off to do duo videos today, but I think that's okay. This was really, really good. I'll send you guys the list of what to look for there, and I'll send y'all the copy of this little tracker. It's kind of in beta. I'd love for y'all to look at it. I'll show. There's one other tab that I'll just show very quickly. Brad alluded to, which I'm going to start handing out to new referrals while you sleep people. And that is tracking every incoming contact, like whether it's about real estate or loans or just, you know, because what referrals while you sleep does, it keeps you top of mind and gets people talking to you. And so it's just a little tracker. And like Brad mentioned, there's a little fun rating and reason for the fun rating, because that's the goal, to work with people we love. So I'll share this with y'all as well. And any thoughts or feedback, I'd love.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.